Since starting the channel, I've had a few people ask where I find the small indie games that I play, and a lot of comments just telling me I've never heard of it. I also recently found the channel Gaming in the Wild, which is just full of videos recommending either new or old indie games. So I thought it'd be a fun video idea to talk about some great indie games you might not have heard of, and of course let you know what the platinum's like. Of course this video is about lesser known indie games, so I'm not going to talk about Stardew, Cuphead, Celeste, Hollow Knight or Hades, but speaking of Hades, if you liked it, you owe it to yourself to check out Supergiant's other games, Bastion, Transistor, and Pyre. And interestingly, Hades is basically a mashup of the core aspects from each of these games. If you like the fast-paced and tight combat of Hades with a lot of weapon variety, then start with Bastion. Bastion is a simple and linear game with very streamlined controls. One button attacks with your first weapon, and another attacks with your second weapon. You've also got a dodge, a heal, a block, and a special move. But what makes the game so dynamic are the customization options with your weapons. You've got a slow hammer, a gun that fires repeatedly, a bow you have to pull back and let go at the correct time, a fast machete that lets you slice and dice enemies, and a musket that acts as a shotgun. And that's only about half of the weapons in the game. You can also upgrade each weapon to make it more unique. However, you can't choose every upgrade, which means you're going to have to decide how you want to spec out each weapon and define your own playstyle. Over the course of the game, you'll be unlocking new abilities and upgrades, and the game just has an incredibly solid gameplay loop, which is paired by the great art style, a genuinely compelling and thoughtful story, and as is the case for each of these games, an incredible score with original songs. As for the platinum, it's challenging and rewarding. There's no annoying collectibles or anything, you're just going to have to get good. PSN Profiles has it as a 7 out of 10, which honestly seems quite high for me. But the reason they have it so high, just like the heat system in Hades, this game has idols. Each idol makes the game harder in some way, and you're going to have to complete challenge arenas with all 10 idols activated. This might seem infuriating and impossible, but you can do it, and you're going to have a great time doing it. If you like the decision making and the synergies you can create with the boons in Hades, then check out Transistor. The combat here is a lot slower paced, and one of the main mechanics in the game is the ability to pause time, plan out your moves, and execute on them. Throughout the game you're going to be experimenting with your different attacks and seeing how they can be combined together to do a lot of damage. And again, the score absolutely shines in this game, with there even being a dedicated hum button that allows you to just vibe out and listen to the music. PSN Profiles has this as a 4 out of 10. I've not played this since launch, which was about 10 years ago now, but from what I remember, the platinum was quite simple. And it has a special place in my heart, because back in 2015, I won a competition for getting the fastest platinum in it, and now in 2024, I'm still number 4. Before you play this, it is worth noting, on the forum, some people are saying the game doesn't save properly on PS5, but then other people are saying that it works completely fine. So do your own research and decide where you want to play it. It has been 10 years, so I think I might replay this one as well. Pyre is a lot different to the other Supergiant games. It's not a hack and slash because it's actually a sports game. There's a lot more going on, but to put it simply, you just have to get the orb into the opponent's pyre. The gameplay is solid, and there's definitely some interesting things that happen later on as you unlock different characters and abilities, but what's most interesting is what happens outside of the games. Bastion and Transistor have great stories, but they're mostly told through the environment, and there's a chance you could play them and not care about anything that happened. However, when making Pyre, Supergiant put a huge focus into characters and dialogue, which was obviously carried through into Hades. The focus on characters is what makes the game so special. The game has a huge branching story. If you fail a match, it's not game over, you just keep going on a different path. If you choose to play with certain characters, you'll start to get more dialogue with them and form a deeper relationship, and of course they'll level up. So in your next match, you want to use the characters you like the best and the ones who are the highest level, which are probably going to be the same person, and you'll continue to use the same people over and over again, and eventually the game drops a bombshell on you. I won't go into detail, but essentially the story of the game is that all of your characters have been exiled to a place called the Downside, and to put it simply, if you win enough games, sometimes a character will be given the opportunity to return home, and this is the push and pull of the game. Do you keep using your best players, or do you let them go on to a better life, even if it means you might lose a few games? It's a fascinating idea. When a low-level football club find a world-class player, should they keep them, knowing that that player might single-handedly keep the club winning games, or should they let them go and let the player move on to greater things? As for the platinum, it's fairly simple, but there's 50 trophies, so you might need to take a quick look at a guide before you play the game. It's quite interesting because if you'd asked me yesterday, I would have told you that Pyre is my least favourite Supergiant game, but after writing this script, design-wise, it might actually be their best, and it definitely has the best soundtrack. Darren Korb has been the audio director and composer at Supergiant since the very start, and he's without a doubt my favourite video game composer. Without his songs and Ashley Barrett on vocals, the games would genuinely not be as good as they are. So no matter which of these games you end up playing, your ears are going to be having a great time. Let's go from one great score to another. Outer Wilds is a game about discovery. It's a game about the mysteries of our universe and a glimpse into our future. And we're also going to talk about another game at the exact same time. The Forgotten City is a game about discovery. It's a game about the mysteries of society and a glimpse into the past. The reason I'm bundling these games together is because they're very similar in the way that they cannot be replayed, and I could spoil your enjoyment of both games in a single sentence. At their core, they're games about exploring and finding information, and I don't want to spoil anything for you, so I'm only going to be talking about the premise of the games. These are both time loop games. In Outer Wilds, the sun supernovas 22 minutes into the day, and in the Forgotten City, if anyone in the city breaks the golden rule, everyone turns to gold and dies. And as you talk to people, someone, maybe you, is bound to break the golden rule.
If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. Somebody in this city is about to break the golden rule.
Sooner or later, things are going to end badly for all of us down here.
So your goal in both games is to find out what's going on and stop it from happening. And to do this, you just explore the world. In Outer Wilds, you go from planet to planet, finding out information that will let you solve puzzles and collect more information. And in the Forgotten City, you talk to people and complete side quests for them, again to collect more information. A major way these games actually differ is that once you've worked out the correct path to complete the game, in the Outer Wilds, there's just 3 or 4 things you need to do, and if you know what you're doing, you can actually do this on your first loop of the game, which there's also a trophy for. But in the Forgotten City, during the game, there's a lot of specific dialogue options you need to pick, and you need to deal with a lot of different people. So there's a nice quality of life option where you can get one of the people of the city to do the menial tasks for you, and you can just focus on the new things. If you're into game dev, these games are also super interesting from that standpoint, because these actually both started off as smaller projects and then later released as full-fledged Game Awards nominated titles. Outer Wilds was originally a small university project that came out in 2015, when it won the Seamus McNally Award at the IGF, which if you don't know is basically the Indie Game Award.
Alright, the 2015 Seamus McNally Grand Prize goes to Outer Wilds.
Thank you so much. This is insane, and I'm just tremendously grateful that for the team and for all of their hard work and for all of our crazy players and people who traded stories on the internet and discovered that you can actually outrun the supernova, which we didn't even know was possible. Thank you for exploring and just everything. Thank you.
They had a successful FIG campaign, the team scaled up, and the game was then acquired by Annapurna. Outer Wilds officially released to critical acclaim in 2019, and the full version won the Best Game Award at the BAFTAs in 2020.
And the BAFTA goes to Outer Wilds.
We just won the goddamn BAFTA for Best Game.
And thank you so much to our fan community. You guys have been amazing. You are so sweet to each other and so good about not spoiling things. And just word of mouth has been essential in getting people to play the game. So between that and just the gorgeous fan art we've been getting, like, oh my God, you're beautiful humans. Thank you so much.
And the Forgotten City started life in 2015 when Nick Pierce played Skyrim and made a mod for it. I'm not joking, it's a Skyrim mod. It's a similar story to Outer Wilds. The game got popular, the team scaled up, they got a publisher, and the full version of the game came out in 2021. Both the alpha version of Outer Wilds and the Skyrim version of the Forgotten City are both playable today, and it's definitely worth checking out the older versions to see how the game went from then to now. As for the Platinums, PSN Profiles has them at a 4 and a 2 out of 10 respectively, and since they're time loop games, technically every trophy is missable, but they're also all unmissable, so I'd recommend just playing the game yourself the first time and then clean up at the end with a guide. It's also worth noting that Forgotten City is on PS Plus Extra at the moment, along with 2 other games that I played recently, Dave the Diver and Animal Well, which I won't talk about now, but they're also worth checking out. While I was putting together this video, I made a list of about 30 games that I think are worth covering. Earlier in the video we saw Lucas Pope, and I could talk all day about how brilliant Obra Dinn is. So now I've told you about 5 indie games I think you should both play and platinum. But let me know if you want to see more videos like this, because honestly I could go on and on and on and on and on. If you liked the video and you're new to the channel, it would mean a lot if you could subscribe, because we're getting closer and closer to 1K every day.